Well, welcome to Healthy Table Talk, Dietitian, Dishing Up Depth. You have Miss Shannon Warner here. She is the host of Having a Mom Moment podcast. The link is in our information, which I highly recommend you listen to if you are a mom and you're having a moment. That's like the best name ever, by the way. I've always thought that.
Thank you.
So I came and I built this channel because as a dietitian, I feel like sometimes there's so much information that's being just pushed in your face on social media or whatever. And really, I just like to offer perspectives that give you ways to think about things that help you form more confidence in your stance or opinion in your health journey. And coming from a history of dieting and a history of being vulnerable with weight stigma, I am now out of that. And I'm happy to help people to create consistency in their health journey outside of dieting. So I thought we, meaning Shannon and I, would come here and bring up topics that just offer some conversation around the table as you grab yourself a tea or a beverage. Keep it about 20 minutes. And please feel free to watch some of our past ones and share any ideas that you have with us about topics. Today, I wanted to share a quick story because in the Wholesome Collective, which is a membership I run, I had a member post in our community page that she is traveling and she says how good it feels to not feel so intimidated while you travel because of the decisions of what healthy snacks or what snacks you should be eating or what you should be ordering or the feeling of regret after you eat somewhere or the feeling of guilt and shame from a whole vacation itself. And she feels so free from that, but also confident in her food choices as they're eating out at different places. And she knows what to order. She knows just how to feel good in her whole like gut health and being. And so that brought me to think about the topic of how so long I myself, but also I see it in other women, building their lifestyle around their health habits or their health journey. So that could look like maybe getting on some certain program or a strict diet, which kind of makes you say, well, I can't go there. They're not going to have anything for me to eat. Or, well, we can't eat out there because I can't find anything on the menu. Or, just that, like, I don't trust myself there. I could never go to that because it's going to be buffet or it's going to be, potluck. And I don't trust myself around that much food, right? Like, that's just like building kind of your lifestyle where you go or don't go or how good you feel around your health journey. And when you let that go, what it can look like. Does that sound familiar to you at all?
I'm picturing my beautiful mother who lived her life that way for a long time. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I know people are
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
I am doing that so much, but I know it's out there.
Yeah. And you don't have to talk so much on yourself either. Just kind of just to say that like it's it's a way that's totally normalized because in my opinion weight stigma says like yes, do whatever you have to do to maintain or lose weight or to look this certain way. Trust me, there's a difference of being on a health journey because you have your connection to self-worth and you prioritize your self-care, and there's a health journey where you feel this commitment to look a certain size or certain way because of the pressure that people put on subconsciously around you or that you may feel because of your past history or whatever evidence you give your brain in that way. There's so different, even though you may be doing relatively the same things. But the way that you're approaching it is what's going to make or break the on or off or, on the wagon, off the wagon thing. And that's
Hmm.
just it. Like when you get off that program, or, usually when you are building your lifestyle around something that's restrictive or just kind of in this like really structured way, then you feel no attachment to anything, which means when you do put yourself in those vulnerable places, you typically do lose control or you lose that confidence or you lose insight because you don't have that. And therefore, you feel farther from your health journey, which then just messes with your mind. And that's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way we assign meaning to things, I know I was just saying this to you before we hopped on, but it's like it doesn't always have to be that deep, right? It doesn't always have to be that deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Well, It's kind of funny because how the on or off thing works in a health journey is all about attachment. It's all about like, I'm
Mhm.
on something, I feel attached, I'm more committed because of that attachment, and therefore I'm going to show up for myself. Not because I'm going to show up for myself, it's because I have these attachments to whatever that looks like. When you release that attachment, meaning a program or a diet or something, therefore you release that commitment, and then you're not showing up for yourself, hence all the guilt. So it's really as simple as, what are you attaching to your health journey? So
Mhm.
when you take that reverse and you're living your health journey around your lifestyle that you've built in love, you're able to not feel like such a kind of like, not a victim, but more so like, I don't know how. This is so hard to figure out, right? Like you are able to be around maybe the things that bring on your weaknesses or insecurities without caving to them, because you've
Mhm.
built something that is sustainable to what you love. So there is no on and off. There is a lot of like, okay, yes, this holidays or whatnot, but it's not this like on, off, on, off. Okay, wait, maybe on, off. Okay, either way,
Yeah.
it doesn't, that's
Yeah.
the extreme. And therefore, that's when like that feeling of failure that comes in. And the worst part about that, that people forget, and again, my big topic is focusing on your mindset, is that when you do that so many times, one, yes, the yo-yo dieting is more unhealthy than if you were just at an unhealthy weight, like ongoing. Actually, the yo-yo dieting is more unhealthy than just being in general overweight. But also, every time that you go on something, off something, on something, off something, which mind you, I've been there, I get it. You are just giving so much freaking evidence to your brain that you're going to fail because you go off. And every time you go off something, your brain says, I'm listening, you failed. Okay, so now you have that association. Your subconscious is ready to pounce on self sabotage when you start a health journey, because it's just waiting for you to go off, because that's all the evidence you've been giving it. So it's like, oh, you're going to fall off soon. So I'm going to give you that sabotage. You know how you've heard of self sabotage? That's where that comes in, because it's like, I'm
Mhm.
going to keep you safe and familiar by making you fail. So then that's all you know. What you don't know is just like, oh, I can do this health journey with ease and enjoyment and not feel failure.
Mhm. I have a question, and I don't know if you know, but between the self-sabotage thing, when you've got this evidence of your quote failure, and then if you don't try a health journey, but maybe you try like a crash diet, and then at the same time your body's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, doesn't that signal danger as well? So you're signaling danger and failure. Like, how does that, like, that just seems like a recipe for
Hmm.
complete and total disaster. Have you seen
Well,
that? Is that a thing?
so you mean for weight loss being scary to your body?
I mean, if you have the evidence that you have failed, and then you try to crash diet, maybe to get into a dress for a wedding or whatever,
Mhm.
you're sending your body and your brain a lot of really scary messages.
Yeah, for sure. It is also emotional related though. So like when people lose weight, they feel this like confidence, like they're doing well, and then they're gonna plateau. Like no matter what, they will plateau. Even on the weight loss shot, you're gonna plateau, right? And so therefore that's when that creeps in. That's when it's like, okay, now instead of getting through this or working this out or building consistency from here, the self-sabotage will say, now's that time when you go off or when you fail or when something pops up that you can't continue. And so yes, but also reminding you that as you get over 35 and kind of into your 40s, your body is going to do everything in its power to resist weight loss because it's saving you. It's like,
Mhm.
no, I'm going to make this so hard because my job, my sole function of life and being is to save you from weight loss, because weight loss feels as if you're not, you're going the opposite way.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
just makes it so hard. But your mindset is more in control of your whole journey than even your body.
Can you speak more to that? Because I see that there are people hopping on who maybe haven't heard you before, but it's not to discourage you that you can't if you're over 35 or into your 40s. You just need to
Mhm.
be mindful of the approach, correct?
Yeah, it's just different. How often have you heard people say, like, I can't do what I used to do in my 20s or 30? Like, I would just stop
Mhm.
drinking soda and it would come off, right? Like, that
Right.
is your body. And you're obviously, there's a ton of changes, but just to know, like, weight loss at the time after 35 into 40s and then even later is really a huge piece of consistency more than what you're doing or what you're not doing, because what you've done in the past has been quick weight loss, and that to you is success. Quick weight
Yeah.
loss in an older woman's body, and I'm not saying old or not old, I don't know if that was the right term, I'm just saying as you
Yeah.
age, quick weight loss is not weight anymore. That is your muscle mass, and you can't build that back as fast as you did when you were 20. In fact, it's going the opposite way. Whether you do or don't, you will lose muscle mass. So now
Mm,
you're losing water weight, muscle mass, and then when you put the weight back on, that is genuine weight. Therefore, it's even harder to get off. So that's why it's like we've done this so many times in our 20s and we were just in the process of doing it. But now that we have that history of doing that, we've burned off a lot of that lean muscle mass. And now we just have that weight to work through. And that's why it doesn't happen as fast. But when it does, that doesn't mean success. So at this point, it's more important to focus on consistency in your health journey that leans towards weight loss. And in my opinion, that focuses on anti inflammatory, that focuses on plant forward lifestyle, that focuses on mindset, pulling you away from guilt and shame, which spirals you back into old habits.
mhm.
Which is why I do what I do, because it's not freaking easy to do alone, but it doesn't take a strict program. It really just takes the commitment to yourself to say, I've done the wiring to get me to this point. I need to do the rewiring through this next phase.
Yeah. But that's the beautiful thing is that you can rewire, right? We have the ability.
Mhm.
You're not set in
Mhm.
this forever. I think that's so
Mhm.
important. And I know it can be really defeating
Yeah.
when we start to notice that things don't respond the way that they used to. But
Yes. Yeah. And we all see it. We're not alone. We start to feel super alone, but like every woman, no matter where they are or how famous they are or what they're doing, every woman sees the change and is kind of startled by it. And
yeah.
it's just the difference of how am I showing up for my self-worth today? Because those changes will otherwise let your ego just drive you into like the quick weight loss, or what do I need to do, or how much money do I need to spend, or where do I need to look for help. And that's when like the hormone things gets really escalated, and yeah, your hormones change, but I'm breaking it down for you. Decrease or cortisol by decreasing your stress. Watch your insulin by increasing fiber and avoid the processed stuff and all the sodas, right? And around everything. And it's really a domino effect. So when your stress is high, it affects other things. So what if we attack that stress first?
Mm. And if you're someone like me, don't feel guilty. And I've worked on this, but like, oh, I'm choosing.
Rather than living in avoidance is what helps push you through to that consistency phase we talked about earlier. But so often we figure out avoidance works because then omission. But what if we had that confidence? We didn't live in this state of like temptation because we've tortured ourselves with deprivation for so long.
What's that saying? What you resist persists. Is that it?
I
Yeah.
mean, that's, yeah, yeah, a little bit, yeah. That is, yeah, avoidance, yeah, right. And that's where I just like get excited when, like people get that aha moment of like, oh, my quality of life and that connection to self-worth is what I'm doing all of this for. And
Yeah.
your weight will fall into place based around that over
Mm,
time, right? That's where that consistency piece comes in. But
yeah.
when we live in this place of being a victim to weight stigma because societal conditioning, let's be honest, that's harder to reach because you have very little self acceptance. And it doesn't mean you need to love where you're at in your health journey, but to move forward towards consistency, that self acceptance, giving yourself grace of how you got where you're at, what you're going through, what your life
Mm.
entails. Therefore, that self acceptance piece allows you to have that connection to self worth, which allows you to build a lifestyle for nutrition for self care, and then you have consistency.
Mhm.
You see
I
the
saw
difference though.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
saw a post that made me think of you the other day, and it said, "If you don't love yourself at your highest weight," I think that it was worded a little bit differently, but it's like, "Then you won't love yourself when you're skinny." Have you seen evidence of that in your
Oh,
clientele?
100%
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
100% yes. They're always reaching for more. So, yes, they feel more confident when they lose weight, but they're always reaching for more weight loss and then they plateau. Boom, all that confidence is shattered. And then
Yeah.
they get scared, so they go into an over restrictive phase because they don't want that, or they feel like people are watching. I need to get fed all of those good compliments about my weight stigma, don't do that, please talk about nobody's weight.
Yeah.
Therefore, then it's just this feeling of lack of control, and that lack of control is the furthest from freedom you can get, no matter how much weight you lost. And this could be someone who lost 20 pounds and gained back 4. All of that confidence and control is shattered. And so it's like, yes, very much so a matter of self acceptance is and self love is way more important than what size or what weight you are. And I always kind of ask this question, which some people hate it. And I get that. But it's like, are you on a weight loss journey for yourself or for other people? And they're like, what? Of course, for myself. And we talk through it. And actually, there's a lot of people who actually do it for other people. How they look, that's for other people.
Yeah.
Because when you have that full self acceptance, how you look actually comes into place through consistency because you're prioritizing your self care. When you're doing it for other people, you're not prioritizing your self care. You're trying to meet those standards, which is all subconscious. We're not thinking these logical thoughts. We're not like making these formed sentences in our brain of this. This is all the messaging and evidence that create our beliefs, which put us into action. And therefore, we have habits. Those habits create our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, the rewiring is the most important thing you could do because that changes your beliefs, which change your actions, which change your habits, which change your lifestyle.
I saw Inside
It's,
Out 2 with my daughter this morning, and I know this, but they harp very heavily on how your thoughts fuel your beliefs, and just it's
oh,
interesting to
I
see.
want to see
Yeah.
that movie.
Good. It's good. You'll probably cry. I cried. It's good.
Okay, I did not like the first one very much. So,
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. You may not love it then, but it was cute. So, yeah.
mm,
Mm.
that'll be good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like my opinions about I'm not a therapist, by the way. I tell plenty of my clients, you go to therapy. I don't talk about your trauma. I'm not trying to help you work through your trauma. I am that person that helps you identify maybe or have some awareness to it affecting your health journey. But I say a lot of my mindset knowledge comes actually from my own experience through pulling myself with my relationship with food and with creating that lifestyle that I love. Because being a dietitian, I'm actually really prone to weight stigma. And being a dietitian, I'm around food talk 90% of my life, right? Like through college classes, my internship with then in the hospital with patients. And truthfully, what it comes down to is like pulling myself into a better place with my relationship with food allowed the consistency, which allowed my weight to stabilize because I was a yo yo dieter, which allowed me to really, like be here talking about this. Otherwise, I'd probably still be in a clinical setting working on YouTube or YouTube, tube feedings. YouTube
Yeah.
and tube feedings are not the same.
YouTube feelings. Nope, that's not this channel. Nope. Mm.
Anyways, I think that's our 20 minutes now. Oh, that's so good. But all here to say, this isn't to overwhelm anybody. This is to provide hope and this is to provide real talk. I want to dish up that depth because I think this is what people brush over when you look at social media and you see a freaking bodybuilder in her ginormous muscles telling you to do this or monitor this hormone or eat protein or whatever to assume that you're going to look like her,
Yeah.
minus the 6 to 8 hours a day she's putting in the gym or the obsession about her weight and all of that, which is now being enabled from social media. It's all twisted. I honestly feel like it's one of the most toxic places to be more than helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You got to curate your feed very, very carefully because
Yeah.
as soon as you engage with it, right, you get more of the same kind of
Yeah.
messaging. No, it's a slippery
Right.
slope for
So,
sure.
if you are looking for a safe space to explore and create and enjoy your health journey outside of dieting, I have a membership called the Wholesome Collective, where we're doing virtual cooking classes, virtual coaching, and master classes and more on a monthly basis to help people with that just implementation phase so they can create that lifestyle and that consistency and therefore enjoy the journey just a little more, right?
Yeah. You deserve to. We deserve to enjoy the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks. All right. Cheers, my sweet friend. Until
Yay.
next week, join us here live again, 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. And cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.